The next step in y equals mx plus b, welcome to it. It's good to have you here. The next step is getting an equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. So far you've all been spoiled and the y equals mx plus b form has just been given to you, and most of you know by now that the number that is with the x is the slope, and the number that's by itself, the constant, is the starting point, otherwise known as y-intercept. Well, now you're going to be given equations that are all jumbled up. The y is not going to be all by itself, and you're going to have to move things around to get y by itself. So how I'm going to explain that to you is I'm going to solve for x, because getting y all by itself is basically solving for y. If you wanted to know what y was, you would get it all by itself. When you solve for x, like we did yesterday, you got to get x all by itself on one side of the equation. So let's just go back to that, what we know how to do. This is a simple two-step equation. How do you get x by itself? You add 6 to the other side to get 18, and then you divide by 3 to get 6. So x is 6 in this problem. So it was two steps. You added the term that was by itself, the one that wasn't with the x, the 6, not the 3. So you added this 6 to the other side, and then you divided by 3. Now, what if this letter, this variable x, was a y instead of an x? Well, you would do the exact same thing. See, really, you already know how to solve for y, because you've been solving for x for a while now, and solving for any letter is the same technique. It doesn't matter if it's an x, a y, an a, whatever. So for solving for y here, you would add 6 to the other side, and then you would divide by 3, and y is 6, just like it was when the variable was an x instead of a y. So solving for y isn't anything new. It's just solving for a variable, which you've already been doing. Now, when it comes to converting to y equals mx plus b, you're going to have an x in this equation too. So it's probably going to look like this. Instead of 3y minus 6 equals 12, it'll be 3y minus 6x equals 12. And it's still the same exact steps we just did. You're going to add the 6, which is now a 6x, to the other side, and then you're going to divide by 3. The only trick is, or the only thing that's different, is that 12 and 6x, I don't need to write the 12 again, 12 and 6x are not like terms. That does not become 18x, and this is the most common mistake that I see on this, is that people want to say this is 18x. But these are not like terms. You can't add a 12 with a number that's with a variable. They're not like terms. It doesn't work. So you have to keep them separate. So instead of 12 plus 6x being 18x, they just stay separate. So you have 12 plus 6x. In fact, I'm not even going to write it right there. That just looks confusing. You took your original line, 3y minus 6x plus 12, you added the 6x to the other side. There was nothing to add it to combine it with, because it doesn't have a like term. It doesn't have any friends. So it just stays by itself. 12 plus 6x. Same exact thing we did before, but before the 6 combined with the 12 to make 18, because they were like terms, because there was no x with it. Now there's an x, it just stays by itself. And then the last thing we did was divide by 3, so we're going to divide by 3. Same steps. Divide by 3, but now, instead of just having one term, the 18 to divide by 3, you've got two terms to divide by 3. So you got to divide the 12 by 3, and you have to divide the 6 by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and that's your equation, y equals 4 plus 2x, which some of you may not like it, the fact that it's actually in the form y equals b plus mx, but they mean the exact same thing. It doesn't matter which one comes first. Whatever number is with x, that's m, whether it's here or here. So the problem is that if it's in this form, b plus mx, and you get this on a test, people are going to want to say slope is 4 and b is 2 because you're so used to slope showing up first and b being second. Don't make that mistake. This is incorrect. Just because the number comes first doesn't mean it's the slope. It's the number with x that is the slope. So 2 is the slope, 4 is the y-intercept. So you guys get this? It's the same steps as solving for x. It's just when you add this term over to here, it doesn't have anything to combine to. So when you divide by 3, you got to divide that one by 3 too. 3 also, I should say. I don't like to use the word 2 in math because, it can be confusing. I think that was a good explanation. I'm really proud of myself. So if you're stuck, please watch the video again. And if it still is a bunch of gibberish to you, then ask me questions because I think I can explain this one pretty well to you.